अच्छा ठीक है।
Hello, good evening, students. Hello, good evening, students. Hello, good evening, students.
Sir, no one is there in the class, sir. Like all them.
Yeah, actually.
Sir, shall I message them, sir?
Yeah. participants were saying that today it will be not working, but they messaged me that it will be
Next
working.
second Saturday, so that's why they gave the holiday.
Pardon?
Sir, they gave holiday for us, sir, today, second Saturday.
Okay. But they said no, it is working. So I said okay.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Aditya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. So Jivita Yashaswini Patil, sorry. So good evening, you all. Pujita. So we'll start. We'll start brushing up what we have done yesterday. Good evening. Good evening. So what we have done yesterday, we'll start from there. Any doubt from the previous content? Is there any doubt from the previous one?
No, sir.
See, what we yesterday finished up till, I think, drawbacks of.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Rutherford settlement model drawbacks was the last.
Yes, drawbacks.
Yeah, drawbacks of Rutherford settlement model was the last one. Okay, fine. So now today we'll be starting with Bohr's atomic model. Bohr's atomic model. Actually, Bohr's atomic model was the first model which used quantum theory of radiation or particle theory of radiation to explain the structure. Bohr was the first one who used quantum theory of radiation. Use quantum, that is particle theory of radiation, particle theory of radiation. While we were doing that nature of radiation, wave nature of radiation, quantum theory of radiation, there I told you the same point and told you this too, that this question was there in IIT, that who was the first one to use this quantum theory of radiation to explain atomic structure. First to use quantum or particle theory of radiation to explain atomic structure. So, as we know, according to Bohr's atomic model, this is nucleus and shells are there around the nucleus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 shells are there. This is K shell, M shell, L shell, M shell, N shell, O shell, P shell, Q shell. Yesterday, Sri Ramakrishna, you wrote that energy is equal to energy, capital N can be considered as energy, na? So see here, this shell, this fourth shell is designated as nth shell. So if you will be writing capital N for energy, then there can be confusion, na? So energy is always N. N is always represented for energy level. So that is number of shell or number of orbit or the energy level or the electron cloud. So every shell is having, and the shell which is there at infinity and the shell which is there at infinity will be having zero energy and will be most stable. And the shells which are closer to the nucleus will be having lesser energy. This is the most closest one. So this will be having least energy, and this will be least stable. Fine, and this will be most stable. E will be, energy will be 0. That's the maximum energy an electron can have, a shell can have. That's the maximum energy. This is the minimum energy, and this will be least stable. In negative, see here you wrote that energy of the electron which is that there at infinity will be 0. So obviously as you comes closer to the nucleus, energy starts decreasing. So since this is having 0 energy, so this shell will be having all these 7 shells will be having energy lesser than the 0. Lesser than the 0, what does it mean? Lesser than 0, what does it mean? It means negative energy. All these shells will be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shells will be having negative energy. And this shell will be having most negative energy, most or highest negative energy. Negative energy is highest means in positive it is the least one. So as the distance from the
It is easy to donate, no, sir.
pardon?
It is easy to donate the valence electron.
Yeah, it will be easy. The valence shell will be
Sir,
having, yeah.
Sir, like
Yeah.
here you said about the energy, no, sir. What kind of energy? Like either kinetic potential or what sort of energy?
Yeah, usually that is the potential energy. Usually during the process, or as she was saying that during the process of losing electron or gaining electron, there will be decrease in potential energy. So that will be potential energy. So energy energy of the shell which is closest to the nucleus will be having least energy, and as the distance of the electron from the nucleus increases, energy starts increasing, and C, energy starts increasing, and this shell which is there at infinity will be having maximum energy, that is 0. So obviously shells which are closer to the nucleus than this infinite shell then will be having lesser energy than this 0. So less than 0 is negative. So obviously all these shells are having negative energy. That is why electronic energy always considered as electronic energy always considered as negative energy, always considered as negative energy, because when electron will be there at infinity, then it will be having 0 energy, and as it comes closer to the nucleus, its energy starts decreasing. So energy lesser than 0 will always be negative. That is why electronic energy will always be considered as negative energy. In newspaper, there was a question related to this electronic. What's the difference between electronic current and electric current? What's the difference here? I am trying to explain you what this electronic word means. Electronic current and electric current. Can you tell me what the difference between electronic current and electric current? See in how simple words in that means current which does not requires wire, which does not require any cable, wireless current. For example, your remote, there is no
Sir,
wire in
CRO?
that remote, but pardon? CRO
Cathode ray
means?
tube, sir.
Cathode ray tube means?
Sir, we were learning about the tube, no, sir, discharge tube, where we saw
Yeah,
that cathode ray was moving without
yeah,
any medium. Like air
yeah.
was a medium with the
No,
low
no.
pressure and high.
Air was there, pressure was very low, so that electrons can move easily now, because electrons are almost having negligible mass now, so they are very, very light particles, or you can say almost massless particles. So to travel for their movement, for their transfer, some medium will be required, but that medium should have very, very less pressure. Then only those electrons won't be feeling any sort of resistance from air in traveling from cathode to anode. A remote is the best example for this wireless current, that is electronic current, and in the rest of the all devices which are wired one are examples of electric current. So current there in your fan or tube light or television, this all is electric current, and electronic current do not require any cable for their travel. So that's the point. They are there in electronic current and electric current. That's the difference between them. So what I
Sir,
was
and for energy, can we say the charge of electron is negative, so energy is also negative?
no energy, nothing can be negative, nothing can be, no quantity can ever be less than zero. But here, what we are saying by this, that efforts will be, no efforts will be required, means energy is negative. Energy is negative, so less energy these electrons are having, which are closer to the nucleus, their energy will be considered as, here see what have you written, when electron will be there at infinity, then it will be having zero energy. What does it means? Means when electron will be there at infinity, then no attraction or no repulsion. No attraction or no repulsion. So then that's why electrons will be here most stable. So that's a sign convention only, that minus or plus will be showing, will be sign convention only, will be showing the direction, will be showing that the energy which is there closer to the nucleus than in compared to that infinity will always be considered as negative energy. So that's why you have said that electronic energy will always be considered as negative energy, because when the electron will be there at infinity, then the energy of that electron will be zero and it will be most stable, and that energy will be the maximum energy. Why their energy will be zero, or why here electron when will be there at infinity will be having will be most stable? Because there will not be any attraction or no repulsion, means electron will neither be moving towards the nucleus nor will be moving away from the nucleus. At this distance, at infinity or any of these shells, the force which is attraction force between the attraction force between the nucleus and electron will be equal to the centrifugal force, will be equal to the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force will be responsible for keeping this electron away from the nucleus, and this attraction force between the nucleus and the electron cloud will always be trying to keep this electron, will always try to move this electron towards the nucleus. So there will be balance between this attraction and repulsive force. So that's why electron will remain be there in the shell, will neither be moving towards the nucleus or will be moving away from the, neither moving towards the nucleus nor moving away from the nucleus. So will remain be there in the shell. So this is about the, this is the quantization of energy. Every shell, what does it means? It means every shell will be having their own specific energy. According to Bohr's atomic model, every shell will be having certain fixed amount of energy. Every shell will be having certain fixed amount of energy, and electrons are also having certain fixed amount of energy, and electrons will occupy their position in terms of energy only. Means what energy electron, if electron will be having less energy, then will be placed closer to the nucleus, and if electron will be having more energy, then will stay away from the nucleus, will be there in the higher shells. So according to every electron will be having certain fixed amount of energy, and every shell will also be having certain fixed amount of energy, and electron will occupy their position according to the energy level. If electrons are having less energy, then will be closer to the nucleus, and if electrons will be having more energy, then will be away from the nucleus. So this is what the quantization of energy is. You have divided shells into different energy levels, and electrons are also having certain fixed amount of energy and will occupy shell according to their energy level. This is called energy. This is called quantization of energy. And electron will remain be there in its shell. Suppose if electron is there in the sixth shell, will remain be there in the sixth shell. It will neither be moving towards the nucleus of the atom, or you can say the lower shells, or will be moving away from the nucleus, that is higher shells. So electron will remain be there in the shell. That is what will remain be there in the same orbit. And if there is no change in energy, that is called stationary orbit. What the meaning of stationary orbit? Stationary orbit means electron will never change its position, will never change its orbit, will never change its shell until and unless there is change in energy. If there is change in energy, then only electrons will change its position. If there is loss in energy, then electron from higher shell will go to the lower shell. That depends upon the amount of energy lost from the shell. So electrons will be moving towards the lower shell if there is loss in energy of electron, and electron will be moving to higher energy level if there will be gain of energy. Plus means gain of energy, minus means loss of energy. If there will be gain of energy, then electrons will move from lower energy level to next higher energy level, and if there is if there is loss in energy, then electron will be going closer to the nucleus. Electron will be going from higher energy level to lower energy level. So whenever electron will be moving from higher energy level to lower energy level, then there will always be loss of energy. And if electron will be moving from lower energy level to higher energy level, then there will always be increase in energy. So stationary orbits means electron will remain be there in the same orbit if there is no change in energy. And if there is change in energy, then only electron will move towards the nucleus or away from the nucleus, that depending upon whether energy is lost or energy is gained. And as I told you, if electron is remain there in the same shell, what does it mean? It means the attractive force between the nucleus and the electron cloud is equal to the centrifugal force of the moving electron. So electron will remain be there in its orbit. Yes, please. Yeah, please tell me. Hello? Yeah, please tell me.
Nothing.
Okay, fine. So some more points related to this Morse atomic model is there. First, you have said that quantization of energy, stationary orbits, and this attraction force between the nucleus and electron cloud is equal to the centrifugal. So these all points are very, very important. Electronic energy will always be considered as negative, because when electron will be there at infinity, then its energy will be zero, and when it comes closer to the nucleus, its energy starts decreasing. So energy starts decreasing from zero. What does it mean? Means will be negative energy. So then what next points are? So here quantization of energy we explained.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. I'll take a screenshot.
Yeah, fine. Recording is...
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. Recording we are doing that. Recording, it's not there?
It is there, sir.
Okay, fine. Not an issue. I'm just asking.
Sir, and as you said about the releasing of and the absorption of the energy, no, sir, like how does it take place?
Means from any source, from light or from heat, from any source of energy, from there electrons will be gaining energy or will be losing energy, and accordingly will be changing their position, will be going to the lower shell or will be going to the higher energy level. So that depends. And it can be light or it can be heat or something else can also be there from any source of energy. From their energy, electrons will be gaining or losing to them, and accordingly will be changing their
Sir,
position.
it's natural or a man-made process?
It can be natural or it can be man-made. See photoelectric effect now, sun, solar, their transfer of electron is taking place by absorbing natural light, and by heating them or by giving them light or light from bulb or from anywhere else, that also can be possible na? Thermoheating effect and thermoelectric effect and photoelectric effect. These are the two things. That is what some student was asking me, thermionic emission. You also told me about the photoelectric effect that we will be doing here. Fine. Quantization of angular momentum also. Quantization of angular momentum also. quantization of angular momentum also. That is mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi. What this n is? N is 1, 2, 3, etc. Fine. Integral multiple. So this is angular momentum. This is angular momentum, and this h upon 2 pi is always integral multiple. That integral multiple can never, this n can never be, that's energy level now. That's energy level. That's principal quantum number. That's principal quantum number. Both are one and the same thing. So it can never be fractional. It can't be 1.2 or 1.3 or 2.7 like this. It can never be possible. So will always be an integral multiple. This is an angular momentum, mvr, mass into velocity into radius. This mvr is the product of mass into velocity into radius, and will always be integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. Will always be integral multiple of h upon 2 pi, where n will be equal to 1, 2, 3 like this, any value. This is 1 point, and then del E is equal to h nu is equal to E2 minus E1. What this is? Final energy. What this is? Initial energy. What this is? Planck's constant. What this is? Frequency. As we have done there in Planck's equation now, energy is directly proportional to frequency of radiation. Energy of the radiation is directly proportional to frequency of radiation. More the frequency of radiation, more will be the energy of the radiation. Frequency means energy, and intensity means number, and intensity means number of radiations. More intensity is there. What does it mean? It means number of radiations are more. If frequency is more, what does it mean? Means energy of the radiation is more. So this point will be helping you a lot there in the photoelectric effect also. So just please remember, frequency means energy, and intensity of the radiation means the number of radiations. Number of the radiation.
Sir, and one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, here why are we representing frequency with V, sir?
It is not V, it is nu.
Okay, yes, sir.
It's nu. It's nu. Frequency is represented by here by nu. So E is equal to del E is equal to h nu. That's Planck's equation now. Del E is equal to h nu. From where you have taken? From this only you have taken. From this only we have taken.
Your screen is zoomed, sir.
Yeah. This paint, I'm not able to see where is paint. Fine. Now it's okay. Everybody can see this
Yes,
now?
sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. So what I was telling you, quantization of angular momentum, that is mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi. This is 1 point, and the next one is del E is equal to h nu, that is Planck's equation. From here you have taken this, everything we know that h is 6.625 in 10 to the power minus 34 joule into second, and nu is the frequency. You know, velocity is equal to frequency into wavelength. So frequency will be equal to velocity upon wavelength. So you can put it here also. Del E is equal to hc upon lambda. That is what we did there in the Planck's equation. So So this is about the Bohr's atomic model. Now, what are the merits of the Bohr's atomic model? Merits of the first we will discuss about the merits of the Bohr's atomic model. According to Bohr's atomic model, experimental value of radii and energy in H are in good agreement with that calculated on the basis of Bohr's theory. So, according to Bohr's theory, what calculations we have done related to energy and radii of the orbit. In case of hydrogen atom, it is in good agreement with each other. So, means in terms of energy and in terms of radii, the energy of the radii and energy of the electron and energy radii of the orbit, both are of in case of hydrogen atom, because we know this Bohr's atomic model. This Bohr's atomic model is only for hydrogen or hydrogen-like species. It is applicable to only H or H-like species. What does it mean? H means one electron. So you can say it is only applicable to monoelectronic species only. It is applicable to monoelectronic species only. It's not for multi-electronic species. What does it mean? It means H is monoelectronic, He plus is monoelectronic, Li2 plus is monoelectronic, Be3 plus is monoelectronic, B4 plus. So only it is applicable to monoelectronic species. So that's why you have said energy and radii in H. Energy and radii in H are in good agreement with the calculated value of these things according to Bohr's theory. Experimental and calculated both are in good agreement. What does it mean? Means it is the right one. This Bohr's atomic model is the right one. That's the first point. That's once again I'll repeat, experimental value of radii and energy in H are in good agreement with that calculated on the basis of Bohr's theory. This is the first point. Then second point, this Bohr's atomic model explains absorption and emission spectra But again the same thing of H-like atoms. So this Bohr's atomic model can explain emission and absorption spectra of hydrogen-like atoms only. For multi-electronic atoms, multi-electronic species, already I have told you na. So for multi-electronic species, it won't be applicable. Then the next point, the experimental value of spectral lines of H spectrum. Experimental values of spectral lines of H spectrum hydrogen spectrum are in close agreement with the calculated by the Bohr's theory. The same thing you have said there in the first point also. There it was energy and radii in H were in close agreement with the both were the experimental value and calculated value, calculated by who calculated it? Bohr's theory, according to Bohr's atomic model. And experimental value, both were there also there in first case. Energy and radii in H were in close agreement. Here also experimental value of spectral lines of hydrogen spectrum are in close agreement with the calculated by the Bohr's theory. So this proves this confirms that the Bohr's atomic model was the right one. So here we discussed about the merits of the Bohr's atomic model. Now we will be talking about the demerits or drawbacks or limitations of the Bohr's atomic model.
Sir, and here, sir, as we discussed about the orbits, no, sir, like generally we draw it as as a circular, no, sir. So is it circular or elliptical? Like as this model resembles to solar system has a like
According
elliptic.
to, yeah, according to Bohr's atomic model, it is circular. But later words in modern atomic models, later words will do that too. According to a Schrodinger wave mechanical model, it is elliptical. It is elliptical. But according to Bohr's atomic model, it is circular. According to Bohr's atomic model, it is circular, but in modern atomic model, it is elliptical one.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, and if anyone will ask, we should say it as circular.
Yeah. If anyone will be asking, up till now, it is circular, but after this Bohr's atomic model, then it will become elliptical one. As a solar, your solar system is also elliptical, na? It is not this is circular. This is circular. And what about the elliptical? A solar system also old concept is this one, but according to modern concept, it is elliptical.
Yes, sir. Like it has a loci, no, sir?
Yeah,
Locus.
yeah, it is elliptical. Sometimes it will be, electron will be very close to the nucleus, and on another point it will be most distant from the nucleus. That is what elliptical orbit is. So electrons will be moving like that. Now we will be talking about the limitations of Bohr's atomic model. Limitations of Bohr's atomic model. This, as you have said, Bohr was the first one who used quantum theory of radiation to explain atomic structure. Na? So this resembles to, or this you can say, well coordinated with the particle theory of radiation or quantum theory of radiation. So it is contradictory to wave theory of radiation. Doesn't explain wave properties of electrons, and is a flat model. It is circular, not elliptical. So it's a flat model. This is the first drawback. Then second drawback of this Bohr's atomic model, fine structure of spectral lines. Fine structure of spectral lines could not be explained. Fine structures of spectral lines could not be explained. This Bohr's atomic model is unable to explain, could not explain the group of spectral lines, could not explain the group of spectral lines, could not explain the group of spectral lines closely packed in a given region, of the H spectrum, hydrogen spectrum. And this does not explain the spectra of, does not explain the spectra of multi-electron atoms. So as I already told you, it is only applicable to monoelectronic species. For multi-electronic species or atom, it is not suitable. This Bohr's atomic model is not applicable for multi-electronic system or multi-electronic atoms. Then this when spectral lines are passed through the magnetic field, then there will be splitting. That splitting of spectral lines under the influence of magnetic field, that won't be explained by this Bohr's atomic model. Does not does not explain splitting of spectral lines under the influence of magnetic field, under the influence of magnetic field, that is called Zeeman effect. That is called Zeeman effect. See, I think yesterday also I told you it was
Yes,
very
sir.
difficult for me to remember. So magnetic man, magnetic effect man, Zeeman effect, and
Stark's effect.
electric field and electric field and electric field, that is called Stark's effect. So in 1 mark questions, they can ask you about magnetic, the Zeeman effect and Stark's effect also. So if there will be a splitting of spectral lines under the influence of magnetic field, then it is called Zeeman's effect. And if it is under the influence of electrical field, then it will be known as Stark's effect. So see, according to Bohr's atomic model, it follows quantum theory of radiation, a particulate theory of radiation. What does it mean? It means the position, or you can say orientation or position of the electron will be fixed. It won't be uncertain, it will be certain. So that is what while explaining wave and particle nature of radiation, I was telling you this what's the difference between wave and particle. So see, since it is it is in accordance with the quantum theory of radiation, so it will be contradictory to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle too. Contradictory to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty
Sir, but
principle.
why contradictory, sir?
Because according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, position of electron is not certain. A position of any microscopic particle is not certain. And what quantum theory of radiation says, that the position of the electron is certain. Wave
Yes,
theory
sir.
says that it is not certain. Fine. So that's why it is contradictory to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. It is unable to explain this Bohr's atomic model. See, what people used to say, that since hydrogen is having one electron, so it must have only one spectral line. But in the spectrum of hydrogen atom, so many spectral lines are there, and Bohr was not able to explain it. So unable to explain presence of many lines, presence of many lines in spectrum of.
Sir, we have done with the spectrum, right, sir?
No,
Or
not
not?
yet. After this only, after Bohr's atomic model, then only we will be talking about the spectrum. After this it comes.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So unable to explain presence of many spectral lines in the spectrum of hydrogen atom. So that is called fine spectra. Presence of many spectral lines there in the spectrum of hydrogen, that is called fine spectra. So they were people were asking, since hydrogen is having one electron only, so there must be only one line there in the spectrum of the hydrogen atom. But Bohr was not able to explain it, why so many spectral lines of the why so many spectral lines in the spectrum of the hydrogen atom is there. So he was unable to explain it. Now the eighth one, quantization does not explain quantization of angular momentum. He gave this relationship that mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi, but why? He was not able to explain that, justify that. Does not explain quantization of angular momentum.
Sir, meaning of quantization?
Quantization means, see, slope.
Yes, sir. Coordinate geometry slope.
No, not that slope. That slope which is there in malls. That road slope, path, and stairs are two different things now.
Yes, sir.
In slope, there is no difference in energy between the two levels. Continuity is there.
Yes, sir.
And in stairs, you have divided them into different energy levels. If the, are you getting my point?
Sir,
Sir, can you repeat
like
this, sir?
slope means elevator, sir, or escalator.
Yeah, escalator. You better to say escalator. Slope means there won't be continuity will be there, na? There won't be any difference in two
Yes, sir.
levels.
Like it
But
will
in
only be
stairs,
moving.
yeah, just and in stairs there will be difference in two energy levels, na? Between two stairs there will be difference in energy, na?
Yes, sir. And we
If
have to
if
put more
if
higher
if
energy.
Yeah, if height of the stairs is more between the two consecutive years, if the difference in height is more, then you have to put lot of efforts. Now you have to use lot of energy. Now then only you can go up from one stair to the next one.
Yes.
But in
Yes, sir.
case of stairs, there is no difference in energy. Now, if you will be having very less energy, then also you can move there. So for
Yes, sir.
elders, for kids, for elders, or for those who are not well, for them, slope is better option than stairs.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So in slope, there is no quantization of energy. And in stairs, you have divided them into different energy levels. You have divided them into different energy levels. You have quantized them into different energy levels.
Sir, like to the fifth step, we have to put this much energy, like to the 10th step, like this, sir.
Yeah, no. Between two stairs, there will be some difference in energy now.
Yes, sir.
That is quanta. You have divided them into 10 or 20 stairs now.
Yes, sir.
From ground floor, you want to go to the first floor. To go to first floor, you have divided stairs into 10 or 20 levels now.
Yes, sir.
So that is, you have quantized them into 10 or 20 energy levels.
Like division or into some
Division, yeah,
smaller equal
divided, and
parts.
that quantization must be whole number only. It can't be fractional. It must be simple multiple, integral multiple. It can't be fractional.
Understood, sir.
Fine. And in slope, there is no difference between the two consecutive energy levels. Continuity is there. Fine. So quantization of angular momentum, Bohr was not able to explain. Anu, you were saying something? Anu or some girl was saying asking something?
No, sir, I had a doubt, but now it is clear, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You are Anu?
No, sir, I'm Aditya.
Aditya, sorry. Every day I'm thinking that you are Anu. Sorry, I can't see that now. Only board is there on my screen, so I can't see that who is speaking. So that's why I'm asking you. Not an issue. Fine. Thank you. Now, what next is? It is contradictory. It is contradictory to de Broglie's dual nature of radiation also, because de Broglie dual nature of radiation says that electron travels in the form of wave as well as in the form of particle. But Bohr's atomic model is saying that it travels in the form of particles only. So it is contradictory to de Broglie's dual nature of radiation also. De Broglie's dual nature of radiation. So just please remember, I told you dual nature of radiation was given by Einstein and dual nature of matter was given by de Broglie. But in general, we used to say that de Broglie's dual nature of radiation, but in actual, it was given by Einstein. Fine. So these were the drawbacks of Bohr's atomic model. Bohr was not able to explain all these points from all these doubts raised by different people. So he was not able. So these are the drawbacks of Bohr's atomic model. So since so many drawbacks in this Bohr's atomic model was there, so there was need of a new modern atomic model which can address all these limitations or drawbacks. So and that we will study laterwards. that we will study laterwards. Before going to all those models, first we will talk about the spectrum. First we will discuss about the spectrum. You know, see, should I go to the next screen? Is it
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Okay, fine. Now see, this is an object. When light falls upon this, then this will absorb light and will emit radiations. This will absorb light and will emit radiations. When light falls upon an object, then that object will absorb light and will emit also that light by absorbing, after absorbing that light, will emit certain kind of radiations from that metal surface. If these radiations are passed through the prism, then will split into different colors. That is called a spectrum. That is called a spectrum. If this material is hydrogen, then this will be the spectrum of hydrogen. Which spectrum of hydrogen? Emission spectrum of hydrogen. Emission spectrum of hydrogen. And if this material is sodium, then this will be emission spectrum of sodium. So in this way, you will come to know about the composition. You will come to know about the composition of this material, whether this material is made of hydrogen or sodium or potassium or what else. Because every element, every atom will be emitting wavelength, will be emitting lines, spectral lines of certain specific wavelength, and no other element can ever emit the same wavelength of the same light. No two elements can ever emit the light of the same wavelength. If hydrogen is emitting some specific wavelength, light of some specific wavelength, sodium will be emitting light of some other wavelength. No two
Like
elements,
golden yellow color.
yeah, sodium is having golden yellow color, hydrogen will be having some specific color. So instead of talking about the color, better to talk about the wavelength, because two colors can resemble but wavelength can't now. If
Yes, sir.
minor difference in wavelength will be there, then will appear look alike, but it won't be same now. Two different elements can never emit the light of the same wavelength. As we two, even if are twins, can never have same DNA, can never have same genetic composition now. So like that, elements, every element will be having some specific their electronic composition and will be absorbing light according to their electronic composition, and obviously will be emitting light also according to their composition only, and no other element can ever emit the light of the same wavelength. No two elements can ever have the same spectrum. No two elements can never emit the light of the same wavelength. Every element will be emitting light of certain specific wavelength, that will be its characteristic feature. So if it is by the absorption, of light, if it is by the emission, if this spectrum is of emitted light, then it's called emission spectra, and in emission spectra, bright lines will be there. And if it is absorption spectra, suppose this is prism and this light is passed from that material, then in that spectra, which is due to the absorption of light, then in that spectra there will be dark lines. Lines will be missing now in absorption spectra. So in absorption spectra, dark lines will be there, while in emission spectra, bright lines will be there. So
Can you repeat, sir?
Yeah, spectra can be of two types. One is emission spectra and second is absorption spectra. In absorption spectra, dark lines will be there, lines will be missing now, and in place of those missing lines, dark lines will be there, dark. It will be dark, and if it is emission spectra,
Yes,
then
sir.
bright lines will be there. And if it is
That is
atomic spectra,
splitting of light, sir.
yeah, that is because of the
Vibgyor.
yeah, Vibgyor, or if it is white light, if it is white light, if it is white light, then all the 7 colors will be there, Vibgyor. And if it is some specific element, then accordingly, this is white light. White light means made of all colors now. So there will be splitting into 7 different constituent colors, Vibgyor. But if some other element is there, if it is not white light, then a specific light of a specific wavelength will be emitted. That spectroscopy or spectrometry techniques are there now to measure the wavelength of this all. That is, everything is computerized. So digitally you will be writing it down or noting it down. So then emission spectra, you have said of two types, absorption and emission. Then spectra can be line or can be band also. Atomic spectra will always be line spectra, and molecular spectra will always be band spectra. Band means made of many lines na. Band spectra. Band means made of many lines. This is line spectra, and band spectra means this is comprised of many lines together. So that is molecular. Molecules always show band spectra and atoms always possess line spectra. So you can classify spectra into two classes: absorption, emission, and then again further you can subdivide them into line spectra and band spectra. Now, before going to this all, this will be very helpful there in the numericals, because in numericals you should remember all these values. For numericals, they won't be, if they will be providing you data, then it will be easy for you to handle, but if they don't provide, then what we will be doing? So we should remember this all. All these values you should memorize. See, electron, proton, and neutrons. And here you will be writing charge, mass, discovery. See what charge electron is having. Electron is having -1 charge, and proton will be having +1 charge, and neutron will be having 0 charge. Fine. This is relative charge. What this is, -1, +1, or 0 is relative charge. What about the actual charge? Actual charge on electron is 1.602 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. This was relative charge, and this is actual charge. This is actual charge, 1.602 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. And in ESU, this is in coulomb. In ESU, it will be 4.8 into 10 to the power -10 ESU. In previous class, I explained you this all now. And what about the proton? In proton, here charge is 1.602 into 10 to the power -19, and that will be minus. And in case of proton, it will be plus, but the magnitude of the charge will be same, 1.602 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb, and here also same, 4.8 into 10 to the power -10 ESU, electrostatic unit. So here charge on electron will always be minus, and charge on proton will always be plus. What about the neutron 0 coulomb, and ESU also 0. So neutron won't be having any sort of charge, will always be having 0 charge, whether it is actual or relative, whatever it is. Now see, what about the mass of the electron? Relative mass 1 upon 1836 times heavier than the mass of the hydrogen atom. Electron is 1 upon 1836 times heavier than the mass of the hydrogen atom. So this is relative mass. Then what is actual mass? 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg is the actual mass of the electron. In AMU, it will be 0.0005485 AMU, or you can say mu only. Fine. It is here I have written 1 upon 1836. In some books you will get 1 upon 1835 or 1 upon 1839. So it's not a big deal. Fine. This is relative mass and this is actual mass in kg and this is actual mass in AMU. Now see the mass of the proton. Relative mass of the proton is 1. And what about the actual mass of the proton? That is 1.672 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg, or 1.00758 AMU. What about the relative atomic mass of the neutron? Relative atomic mass of the neutron is also 1 like that of proton, and its actual mass will be, this is 1.672, this is 1.672, here it will be 1.674. Here it is 1.007, there it will be 1.008. So I will write down the actual value. 1 is relative atomic mass of neutron, then 1.674 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg is the actual mass of the neutron. What about the mass of the neutron in AMU? Mass of the neutron in AMU will be 1.00893 AMU. Fine. So this is relative mass of neutron, proton and electron. This is actual mass in kg and AMU of neutron, proton and electron. 1.008. This is mu. This is mu, that is AMU. Who discovered electron? Electron was discovered by Sir J.J.
Thomson, sir.
Thomson, yeah, J.J. Thomson. Who discovered proton?
E. Goldstein.
James. Who discovered proton? That is
E. Goldstein, sir.
Goldstein, yeah. And who discovered neutron? James Chadwick. Who discovered neutron? James Chadwick. And in which experiment this electron was discovered, was obtained? That is cathode ray discharge tube experiment. Name of the experiment where this was discovered was cathode ray discharge tube, cathode ray discharge tube experiment. And in which experiment this proton was discovered? That is the anode ray discharge tube experiment. Anode ray discharge tube experiment. And in which experiment this neutron was discovered? For that you have to write down a reaction, nuclear reaction, Be4 9 plus twice.
Sir, plus alpha particle, sir.
Yeah, alpha particle. Helium nuclei is alpha particle. What you will get? You will get 6 carbon 12 plus neutron. Fine. That is
Yes,
X-ray.
sir.
That is X-ray experiment. This is X-ray experiment.
Sir, actually cathode rays are called as X-rays, no, sir?
Cathode ray, X-rays are produced by the secondary effect of cathode rays. When cathode rays strikes on the wall of anti-cathodic material, then what you will be getting? You will be getting X-rays.
Anti-cathodic means anode.
Anti-cathodic means ebonite rod, and I actually, while explaining this all, I gave you there too, gold or molybdenum, some metals, and ebonite rod is also ebonite.
Yes,
rod
sir. You
is
had
also,
given.
Yeah, ebonite rod is also anti-cathodic material. So anti-cathodic material means nature of that material will be opposite of a cathode. Means will be having positive tendency. It won't be acting as a negative electrode. It will be acting as a positive electrode. So that material. Fine. So this all is done for today.
Sir,
So
and one more doubt, sir. I was
yeah.
going through the notes, sir, and in this anode ray tube, I'm like anode ray experiment, I'm not understanding, sir. Like they say about the like canal rays and all, no, sir.
Yeah, canal rays or anode rays or positive rays, just everything will remain be like that of cathode rays only, just nature will be different, that's all. Just nature will be different, that's all.
How, sir?
Cathode rays are made of negatively charged particles, anode rays will be made of positively charged particle. Anode rays originates not actually from anode, but just opposite of the region of that cathode rays. From there only it is originated, and cathode rays will be originated from the cathode only, and rest what properties you wrote for cathode rays, everything you will be writing for the anode rays too. So will remain be same. Nothing difference is there.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, and one more, sir. Like I just said that in this anode ray tube, gas will be there, like hydrogen gas. But
Yeah.
in anode ray, it would not be there, sir.
Yeah, no, everything will remain be same. Everything will remain be same. Atmospheric pressure will be required, but that pressure won't be of normal atmospheric pressure. It will be very, very less. And whatever potential difference or atmospheric pressure you have written, everything will remain the same, just only nature. I'll try to cover it in tomorrow's class. If it is not tomorrow, then in next class, I'll try to cover it. Fine? I'll try to
Okay,
cover it.
sir.
Fine. Tomorrow we'll start with the spectrum of the atom. Fine. Tomorrow we'll start with the
Yes.
spectrum
Yes,
of the
sir.
atom. Tomorrow class time is
Thank
8:30
you,
na?
sir.
Tomorrow is 8:30 na?
Yes, sir.
8:45, sir.
8:30.
Eight.
Okay. 8:45 or 8:30?
8:40.
8:45, sir.
8:45, sir.
Okay, fine. Sunday you want to sleep little more, Babu? Huh?
Yes.
Fine. Fine. Okay, bye. Take care. Have a good weekend. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, you all. Thank you very much.
Stop recording, sir.
Yeah, fine.